Good morning, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us today for our April virtual coffee break. Before we get into it, we're just going to share some housekeeping tips and reminders for anyone that is new. If you have questions, please type them in the chat window or the Q&A window at any time. We'll have some time at the end, but I try to make this as interactive as possible, so I try to answer questions as we get them. For everything else, feel free to reach out to me at sales@tristaterestorers.com. We are recording. Links to view the video and the PDF presentation will be shared with you guys tomorrow morning through Zoom. For everything else, visit our YouTube channel at Tri-State Restorers for a complete archive of all of these virtual coffee break presentations. After the coffee break, please complete the post-event survey. We'd love to hear what topics you'd like us to cover in our next event. Save the date for the last Wednesday of the month, May 27th. And state of the end, guys, we've got one lucky attendee walking away with a $50 Starbucks gift card, and 10 lucky attendees will win the $5 card. Stay at the end and find out how. Good morning. Good morning. So who we are a family-owned, locally operated, established firm here in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. We specialize in mitigation, remediation, removal, cleanup, and restoration efforts of both small and large water, fire, mold, biohazard, lead, and odor-caused damages. Our company's mission is turning disaster into peace of mind because we're committed to easing the burden of handling your property disaster by providing you with the best customer experience and services possible. And again, this is just our suite of services to help out with all the internal damages, water mitigation, mold remediation and lead abatement, fire and smoke, odor and control, biohazard and trauma disinfection services, and sewage mitigation and cleanup efforts. We're an ICRC certified firm, EPA lead safe, IAQA smart mold. We're 5-star rated across all the sites that count. All of our employees are infectious disease control certified and water restoration technician certified, and we have 2 licensed asbestos inspectors on staff. We also belong to these wonderful organizations down here, the Property Management Association, and we're members of 2 chapters of CAI. Now let's get into it, guys. Time for the fun part. When your property sounds the alarm, let's learn about sounds that signal disaster. So not rubber chicken screaming, but that also could signal disaster. Today we're going to walk through sounds that you might hear in a property and what they could mean before things get worse. So let's open this up with a poll for everybody. Which of these sounds is most likely to immediately grab your attention, even if you're half asleep? What's everybody think? A smoke alarm chirping, a loud bang in the house, a baby crying. As a mom, I'll tell you that's probably what's going to wake me up first. And running water when everything is off. Yeah, the loud bang, right, Kelly? Smoke alarm, yeah. The baby gets me. Yes, Sheila. There's there's nothing like a baby scream at 2 a.m. All of them, right? But here, let's point out the running water when everything's off. It's not a very loud sound, though, is it? But it could potentially mean that disaster has struck. So we're going to get into all of these different sounds. Yeah, a loud bang in the house, definitely. Let's learn a little bit more about how we actually hear.
You ever wondered how sounds make their way from the source all the way to your brain? Take a trumpet, for instance. When it's played, it makes sound waves in the air. The outer ear catches the waves, which then travel through a narrow passageway called the ear canal. The sound waves reach the eardrum, which is a membrane roughly half the size of a dime. They make the eardrum vibrate, which in turn vibrates 3 tiny bones called the malleus, incus, and stapes. These bones amplify or increase the sound vibrations and send them to the cochlea. The cochlea is shaped like a snail and is the size of a garden pea. It is filled with fluid, and the sound vibrations make this fluid ripple, which creates waves. Hair-like structures called stereocilia sit on top of hair cells and are grouped together as hair cell bundles inside the cochlea. The hair cells inside the cochlea ride these waves, and the hair bundles are moved. The hair bundle on top of the hair cell turns these movements into electrical signals. As the hair bundles are moved, ions rush into the top of the hair cells, causing the release of chemicals at the bottom of the hair cells. The chemicals bind to the auditory nerve cells and create an electrical signal, which travels along the auditory nerve to the brain. Different hair cells respond to different frequencies of sound. The hair cells at the base of the cochlea detect higher-pitched sounds, such as a piccolo or flute. The hair cells toward the top of the spiral detect progressively lower-pitched sounds, such as a trumpet or trombone. At the very top or apex of the spiral, the hair cells detect the lowest-pitched sounds, such as a tuba. The auditory nerve carries the electrical signal to the brain, which interprets the messages as sounds that we recognize and understand.
All right, so let's now learn how your brain detects danger before you see it. How we actually hear something. So we learned a little bit about that thanks to NIH. Our brains are wired to recognize certain sounds as threats almost instantly, especially unfamiliar or out of place noises like the loud bang in your home. That instinct is where we're tapping into today, and here's how it works. Sounds travel as vibrations. When something makes noise, it creates sound waves that move through the air and into your ear. Your ear converts the vibrations into signals. The inner ear, the cochlea, turns those vibrations into electrical signals that your brain can understand. Your brain interprets the sound. It's very quickly identifying patterns, volume, and tone to determine if that sound is normal or a red flag and a potential danger. So let's see how sharp your ears are before we dive in. Have a fun and guess the sound video here. So when you think you know what the sound is, share it in the chat. I'll give everybody a heads up. This goes pretty quickly, so you might get the answer before you have a chance to share. All right, we can't hear any sounds at all. So let's restart this video and try again. Let's hope the internet gods are friendly to me today. Let's try it one more time. Amy, I'm going to use you as my example. You tell me if you can hear it. Oh, well, that's a bummer. I'm sorry you guys aren't able to hear that. Let's see. You guys can hear me though. Okay. Well, we're probably gonna move on. There were some fun sounds, popcorn and dripping noises. As long as you guys can hear me, let's keep moving on. So did you know your brain can recognize and react to certain sounds in as little as 0.05 seconds, faster than you can consciously think about them? What makes sounds feel so immediate? Because your brain is always listening. It's constantly monitoring sounds for threat detection and pattern recognition. That's why a sound can trigger a reaction instantly, like a flinch or, the stranger danger kind of feeling. You got to run away. You can sense something is off before you can fully process what it is that you're sensing. Sudden or unfamiliar noises immediately grab your attention, even without thinking. Your brain is designed to alert you quickly. Sound is an early warning system. Your ears never turn off. Even when you're asleep, your brain is still processing sounds to detect potential danger. Because your brain is always on alert, it's wired to detect changes in sound, unfamiliar noises, and sudden volume shifts. That's why you react before you think, you notice something doesn't sound right, and certain sounds immediately feel like danger. Your ears detect what your eyes can't see. Your ears can hear the hidden leaks behind walls or under floors before any visible damage appears. We can hear slow drips and moisture buildup that haven't surfaced yet. We can hear pressure changes in pipes that could signal potential failure. Airflow and ventilation issues can also be indicating hidden moisture or system strain on your HVAC. And structural movement or stress before cracks or damage become visible. All right, let's do another fun poll. Don't worry, there's no sounds associated with this one, so I think we should be good. If you heard one of these sounds in your home or property, which would concern you the most? Gurgling or bubbling from drains, dripping inside a wall, your HVAC constantly running, or a sudden loud bang in the pipes? Happened to me and it in black mold. Yes, unfortunately. Yeah, the dripping in the wall. 100%. Oh, you guys are smart cookies. So, all of them really, but the dripping in the wall is probably what's going to have the worst adverse effect. Also, the bubbling or gurgling sounds in your drain, that is a sign of a major backup about to happen. The most dangerous sound is often the quietest one. The ones we ignore tend to cause the biggest problems over time. Strange sounds equals your warning sign. Most of the jobs we see didn't start as emergencies. They started as something small that just didn't sound right. So let's get into it. Running water, and let's see if maybe we can hear this. If we can't, that's okay. We're going to share all of these slides with everyone so you guys will get an opportunity to click and listen to all the different videos. Unfortunately, Zoom just isn't picking up these audios today. So running water when nothing's on, what you're hearing, it's a steady or faint sound of water moving when all fixtures in the property are off. What it likely means is water is escaping somewhere it shouldn't be, behind walls, under floors, or even under the slab. This is often an early stage leak. Left unchecked, it can lead to structural damage, mold growth, and increased water bills. Our pro tip, shut off all water in the home, check your meter. If it's still moving, you likely have an active leak. Call a professional immediately before it escalates. Dripping or ticking noises inside the walls. What you're hearing, light tapping, dripping, or rhythmic ticking sounds behind the drywall. What it likely means is a slow leak from a pipe or fitting that hasn't fully failed yet. Slow leaks are dangerous because they can go unnoticed for very long periods of time. They can saturate insulation and framing. They can start the wood rot process. Microbial growth can start to find a nice home because now you have that damp environment with building materials that it loves to feast on. So it's really creating that perfect environment for them. Our pro tip here is don't wait for the visible damage. Use moisture detection or have a professional assess early. Earlier intervention can mean drying instead of demolition. All right, let's see if we hear a freight train noise. Like a place. That sound is caused by intense wind and debris moving at high speeds. Our pro tip here, if you hear this, it's not just wind, it is a serious warning to take cover immediately. Adding this in here, while we are not in a typical tornado area, Maryland has surprised us in the last couple of years, and we have had tornadoes touch down in the, Olney, Laytonsville area. So it is definitely something for us to be aware of and listen out for these sounds. Bubbling or gurgling. What you're hearing, air bubbles, gurgling, glugging sounds from your sinks, tubs, or toilets. What it likely means is that you have a blockage or a backup in your drainage or sewer system. This is a major warning sign before a sewage backup. Once the backup happens, and you can see to the left here, you've got contaminated water damage. There's health hazards involved with all the contaminants that come with a loss like this. And it ends up being a very expensive cleaning process. So when you hear the warning sign, our pro tip is to stop using the water immediately, stop flushing your toilets, stop using your drains, have a professional come out, do an inspection, make sure that they're clearing that blockage before you regain use of your plumbing systems. What about a loud banging? This is called actually a water hammer noise. What you're hearing is a sudden bang or knocking sound when the water shuts off after flowing. What it means is there's a pressure shock to your plumbing system. Over time, pipes can loosen their connections. It can cause cracks or bursts and lead to sudden failures. But most of the time, it's just the natural kind of ebbs and flows of the water in your home system, the pipe pressure, and it's just making a noise as the plumbing pressure is starting to contract and expand. Our pro tip here, though, is don't ignore it just because it's common. A plumber can install arresters or adjust pressure to prevent long-term damage and can check for larger issues. Constant buzzing and your HVAC running. What you're hearing is a system running nonstop, louder than usual, or short cycling. As we're getting into these warmer months here, we want to be aware that our HVAC system, can give us warning signs like this. What it means is your system may be compensating for excess humidity or hidden moisture, insulation or airflow issues as well. Moisture problems often show up here first and can lead to mold growth, higher energy costs, and total system failure. Our pro tip here, if your HVAC suddenly changes its behavior, it's worth checking for hidden moisture, not just in the unit itself. Moisture issues become bigger problems if ignored. Chirping or beeping noises. We talked about this a couple of times now during the presentation. If you're hearing intermittent chirps or repeated alarms with either your smoke detector, radon, CO2, what it likely means is you have a low battery. That's the best case scenario. It could also mean a sensor malfunction or an actual smoke or fire risk, which is your worst case scenario. Most likely, though, it's a dead battery. You're correct, Kevin. So let's make sure we just had daylight savings a few weeks ago. If you didn't take the opportunity to change out all your batteries, there is no time better than now to get that done. Yeah, the chirping in the back, it drives everybody crazy, right? So this is one of the few warning systems designed to protect life safety. Never ignore it, replace batteries immediately, and verify functionality. You can even call your local fire department. They'll come in and they do free inspections of smoke alarm systems just to ensure they're ready when you need them. If you hear cracking, popping, or shifting sounds, this is a big red flag. Random pops, creaks, or cracking noises in your walls, ceilings, or floors. What it could potentially mean is structural movement, moisture expansion, or material stress on your property. What it likely means is normal settling of the property as the land shifts, properties and building materials shift as well. And there are some normal settling factors there. But if it persists and you continue to hear noises, definitely have it checked off. Yep, any sound needs to be checked, not ignored. Exactly, Fatten. Very, very true. So pay attention to frequency and location. If it's paired with stains, odors, or softness, get it checked immediately. It could be signs that there's something bigger going on. Now let's get into some low rumbling, rolling, or grinding noises. What you're hearing is a low rumbling, grinding, rolling noise like a distant thunder or heavy truck passing underground. This sound is likely the Earth's crust shifting and releasing energy along the fault lines. This is a red flag that there is potentially an impending earthquake. Often people hear an earthquake before they feel it, making it an early warning to take cover. Wind, whistling, or pressure sounds. When you hear these noises, specifically around windows, doors, or roof lines, it could mean that you have an air infiltration issue, maybe some bad seals or openings, potential entry points for water during storms. So these are often early indicators of vulnerability before a storm hits. We want to make sure we're inspecting our seals, our roofing, our exterior openings. Water needs to stay outside. You want to stay dry inside. Small gaps today, fixing those could help prevent major water intrusion tomorrow. Now let's get into what it costs. We always want to say early detection is always better. It helps save you time, money, and life is going to continue lifing after everything is said and done. So if you have a much easier and quicker recovery time, it's just going to make things a lot better for you in the long run. So we want to try to catch these issues early. The best case scenario, sound is investigated right away. We can catch a minor leak repair. We can start with targeted drying, minimal to no demolition needed, little to no disruption to life. Typical cost range between $350 to $2,500. Now, when we get into the too late side of the scenario where a sound is dismissed or overlooked, water will continue spreading behind walls and flooring. It's going to travel the path of least resistance. It's going to keep going until the property tells it can't go any farther. This leads to mold growth. Structural materials start to deteriorate, and we get wood rot. This requires full mitigation plus reconstruction efforts needed. As you can see, this home, unfortunately, it was unoccupied. This was part of an estate. There was a major pipe break, but it went unnoticed for several days. And by the time we came out, unfortunately, there weren't many building materials that we could salvage. And this ended up being a total gut and replacement during reconstruction efforts. So let's remember the same source issues can cost 10 to 20 times more if ignored. Early action and early detection equals less damage, faster recovery, and lower cost. The quiet sounds are often the most expensive to ignore. Thank you. In closing, if you suspect you have a property hazard or require assistance with water, fire, smoke, lead, or biohazard damages, give us a call. We're available 24/7 to assist with your disaster. We're also here as your subject matter experts in the corner for any questions, concerns. Give us a shout. We are here to help you. We want to help turn your disaster into peace of mind. Now we're going to open it up for questions if anybody has any questions. I love how interactive everybody's been today. I can tell you guys have all had your cup of coffee. Super happy. So we're going to keep rolling through because I know what everybody's waiting for is prizes. But if you do have questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A or the chat window. We'll address it. For anything else, you're always welcome to shoot me an email. And then this is how to reach out to us. We do have a 24-hour emergency line. Somebody from our team is always answering live. We don't have any AI bots over here. You're always going to speak with a real person. And then this video to the left, this is just a commercial property that we were out assisting with. So I love the videos that our technicians send us. We take videos before, during, and after of all of our job sites. So it's really fun to just see things in action. All right, without further ado, let's find who our winner is. I've got my random number generator here. And I'm going to scroll down to number 67 and see who that is. All right. Robin Barber, you are today's winner. Congratulations. I will be getting you a wonderful caffeinated surprise. I hope you use it wisely and enjoy. And now what everybody has been waiting for. Please let me know one thing you learned today in this presentation. The first 10 responses will get you a $5 Starbucks gift card. Let's see what everybody learned. Regular checkups can catch problems early. Perfect. Smoke detector batteries can be inspected by the fire department. Yeah, Kelly, awesome. Plus, you get to hang out with firefighters if you invite them over. Moisture issues can affect indoor air. Perfect. Smallest issues can cause the largest and most expensive problems. Stay vigilant. Yes, ma'am, Amy. Our brains are wired to recognize certain sounds as threats almost instantly, unless you're my husband hearing the baby. Oh my God, Sheila. Specifically, unfamiliar sounds, our brain is always monitoring. Yes, ma'am. Behind wall leaks can cause major damage if ignored. Don't drink and drive caffeinated beverages. Thanks, Kevin. Checkups beyond the key for early signs. Beautiful. Well, thank you all so very much. Truly appreciate you joining me today. I'm going to be sending this out to everyone here today as well. I know if you got it last week, you can ignore it, but we do have some more friendly new faces here on today's call. We want to make sure everybody gets this guide. We'll see you May 27th. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Hopefully you're inside and stay dry and warm. We'll catch you next month. Take care, everybody. Who are you going to call? Exactly, Chrissy. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.